college basketball returns tonight. Season openers around the country, including one here at Redbird Arena, where this evening the Illinois State Redbirds play host to the UNC Wilmington Seahawks. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Illinois State Basketball. The Valley on ESPN. Kurt Pegler alongside Sean Johnson. Basketball is back. Fans in the stands, cheerleaders, the band, a full schedule. We missed this, didn't we?
622 days since fans were last here in Redbird Arena. A lot of new players, a lot of new coaches, certainly some nerves, but more excitement. We're back to a normal college basketball season.
Both these teams have similar stories. Each won 7 games a year ago. They've got a lot of transfers, new faces on their rosters, a lot of question marks early in the season, but there's no question who leads the Seahawks, and that's Jalen Sims.
Jalen Sims is a 6'6 senior. He was honorable mention All-CAA in the preseason, 19 in their exhibition game, 7 free throw attempts, 78% from the line. The Redbirds are going to need to slow him down and keep him away from the basket if they're going to have a chance tonight.
Might we see a breakout season for Illinois State's Antonio Reeves? If last week's exhibition game is any indication, he's in for a big year.
Antonio Reeves declared for the NBA draft and used that extended deadline. Went to Miami, 3 workouts a day. Bigger, faster, stronger, double figures in his last 5 games last year, 34 in the exhibition. He looks ready for a breakout season.
And let's take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's game between UNC Wilmington and Illinois State. We'll talk a little bit about Jalen Sims. We'll probably talk a lot about him tonight, the senior from Charlotte. He's averaging just about 18 points a game a year ago. He's the leading scorer for the Seahawks, and the guy that makes it all work for them is Shaquem Phillips, who only played a couple of games last year at point guard. He's healthy and ready to go. 3 transfer players for the Seahawks in Fornes, Baker, and Okoro. Illinois State has 4 transfers in the starting 5. We see some new faces. Mark Freeman is a new one from Tennessee State. He's in that starting lineup. Kendall Lewis, an Appalachian State transfer, but Cy Chapman is back. Josiah Strong is back. Antonio Reeves returns. And again, he might be one of those guys that really blossoms into a scorer this year.
Yeah, and Kurt, you look at all the transfers in college basketball, and you mentioned it, and you're going to hear us talk about it a lot, but Antonio Reeves is almost the outlier now, where he picked a school and stayed, and it seems like Dan Muller is going to trust him a lot with the offense, like we talked about. 34 in the exhibition game. He looks physically different. He's going to be rewarded for sticking around, it looks like.
Gene Grimsaw, Jeff Campbell, Grant Dietrich, the officials for tonight's game here at Redbird Arena. And the opening tip actually goes out of bounds, and it'll be Seahawks basketball. As we are just underway here at Redbird Arena, the season opener here at the Valley on ESPN. Glad that you're alongside. November the 9th, and the college basketball season is kicking into high gear.
Looks like we got a delay for blood. And this might be, we talked, Kurt, the earliest game we can remember broadcasting, and now 4 seconds into the season, maybe the earliest delay for a bloody mouth in NCAA history.
Now this is the 6th all-time meeting between these two schools. They don't get a chance to play one another that often. The Redbirds hold a 3-2 lead in the series. The last time they met, in fact, it was 10 years ago. You have to go back to December of 2011, a game that was won by the Seahawks here at Redbird Arena, 63-54. But just, like I said, 5 previous meetings all time between these two schools. So they're not real familiar with one another and haven't played a game against each other in 10 seasons.
No, and we talked to Coach Muller, but the interesting thing is 2 of the 6 matchups Dan Muller played in. And so he has some familiarity with the UNC Wilmington basketball program and his time as a student athlete here at Illinois State.
First possession of this basketball game goes to North Carolina Wilmington. Fornes is going to try a 3. Freeman runs the show now for Illinois State. That's him wearing 0, and his ball nearly turned over. Redbirds are going to maintain possession.
And 2 things already early. Fornes with an early 3-pointer, not what Wilmington looks to do on offense, but on defense, they are going to deny passing lanes, and they're going to pressure for 40 minutes. And Dan Muller said no lazy passes, and Kendall Lewis, his first one, you see right there, any opportunity Wilmington has, they're going for that steal in the passing lane.
Freeman penetrates and gives to Chapman, hit a shot blocked, but a foul. Cy Chapman, last year just played 5 games for the Redbirds before opting out for the remainder of the season. He's the UMass transfer from Minneapolis.
Number 1, Cy Chapman at the line for Redbirds, shooting 2.
Didn't get a chance to get to the free throw line that often, just 7 attempts a year ago. Made 4 foul shots. Averaged just under 5 points and 1 rebound a game for Illinois State in that 2020-2021 season.
Coaches have talked in practice. Cy Chapman, they've said, a different person from last year, mentally and physically, and they've talked about the talent level he has, and you'll see this Illinois State roster doesn't have a ton of front court depth, and so Cy Chapman is going to be asked a lot. Despite only playing 5 games last year, they're going to look to him as a prominent returner.
And he has the first points of the season for Illinois State. This is Phillips now. He's going to try a 15-footer. He poured that one right in. And the first basket of the year for Wilmington is for the sophomore guard. Again, just played 2 games a year ago because of injuries. Averaged 10 points and 3 rebounds a game a year ago, and now the Redbirds turn it over. There you go.
And we're going to talk about it, but it's not a defense that Illinois State's going to see a ton, but Wilmington is going to pick up all 40 minutes in the full court. And so right there, if you're Dan Muller, you're probably upset because a lot of emphasis on press break, and you take a 5-second call early. That is an emphasis of Wilmington's defense. They want to pick up and make you uncomfortable.
Sims has yet to even touch the ball in the first minute 20 of this game. 6 on the shot clock. Penetrate. Shot blocked. Lewis with the rejection. Now Strong. He penetrates, flipped it up. He got maybe a little too far under the rim, and now back come the Seahawks. Sims finally with the basketball in his hands. Phillips one-on-one with Freeman, little stutter step and down the lane, and he's got the first 2 baskets of the game for the Seahawks.
And Shaquem Phillips is somebody that only played 2 games last year for Wilmington, and I know we will talk about it, but 2 different COVID shutdowns last year. They played the fewest conference games in the country. So Phillips is actually probably 2 years removed from playing basketball, so you have to feel like for him, the confidence is going to start flowing if you get off to a good start.
Yeah, just 17 total games for UNC Wilmington a year ago. Now Strong. His 3 is off the back of the rim. Long rebound to Reeves. He comes away with the offensive rebound, penetrates and scores. Player on the floor as Reeves took it right to the rim. And again, he's coming off a 34-point effort in the exhibition win last week against Davenport. And the player on the floor is Jalen Fornes. As you can see, he and Reeves had a bit of a collision. And Fornes walks over to the bench now.
And we're going to go to the monitor at college basketball. That's the rule now. Any hit above the shoulder, you're going to take a look at it. It looked from the far out angle incidental, and that's Antonio Reeves. We've talked about it. When he got here as a freshman, he was a stand-up shooter, and to see him get an offensive rebound, put the ball on the floor, finish strong, that's an element of his game he really wanted to add as he looks to expand into a 3-level scorer as opposed to just a standstill shooter.
Number 10, the Seahawks lineup.
So the officials evidently took a look at the replay and said that was just incidental contact. So no foul there. Give the basket to Reeves. It's a 4-3 North Carolina Wilmington advantage and the basketball. And you'll look there at Takeo Siddle, the head coach of the Seahawks in his 2nd season. Sims trying to create, puts it on the floor, takes it to the rim, flipped it up, can't get it, in and out of the hands of a teammate, and it's saved, and Illinois State's basketball. Nice alert play that time by Freeman. Falling out of bounds, threw it off one of the Wilmington players.
Great effort right there on the defensive end from Illinois State, and Wilmington wants to put the ball on the floor, they want to drive it, and they want to make you guard, and so there's been really good help defense so far early from the Redbirds on all of the drives. As you saw there, Sims had to shoot about a 5-footer as opposed to getting all the way to the basket.
Redbirds tried a lob to Chapman, but the miscommunication on the attempt there, and Illinois State turns it back over.
And that's what Wilmington wants to do, a team of 5 guards. If they can speed you up and make you play that way as opposed to slowing down in the half court, that's their emphasis. They want to turn you over and get you uncomfortable and playing faster than you prefer.
And they have turned Illinois State over twice in the first 3 minutes of this game. Here's Baker trying to work on Chapman. And a foul on Cy Chapman.
Redbird foul charge to number 1, Cy Chapman. His first personal.
Baker's the transfer from Morehead State. In 4 years at Morehead State, he averaged 7 points and just under 4 rebounds a game. So he comes in as a grad school student. This is an older team. They've got 3 guys listed as grad school players.
It is, and that's something that if you're Takeo Siddle, we talked about it, but last year, not playing a lot of games, the continuity is really going to help them. And when you have a young team that's coming out of a year where you don't play a lot, if you're him, you have to feel very comfortable with a lot of older players on the floor.
This is Lewis. He penetrates. Couldn't finish. Offensive rebound. Here comes Phillips now back into the front court for the Seahawks. 4 minutes into this one, it's 4-3 North Carolina Wilmington. And that's going to be an illegal screen. So the Redbirds will get the ball back and will step aside. First timeout of the night. We're just underway. North Carolina Wilmington leads Illinois State 4-3 in the season opener here at Redbird Arena. Slow start offensively for both teams. Let's talk about the keys to the game.
UNC Wilmington, they play with tempo. When Takeo Siddle was at NC State as an assistant running their offense, top 40 in tempo 2 years in a row. We've talked about the press. They want you to play fast, and they want to win the turnover battle. They want you to get uncomfortable, give them the ball so they can get out in transition. For Illinois State, you have to guard without fouling, and so far, 0 free throws for Wilmington. They shot 40 in the exhibition game. They shoot 78% from the line. That's what they want to do, and you have to own the paint. We're going to talk about it, but Wilmington plays 5 guards. Illinois State has to guard the paint. They have to keep the ball out of there and limit North Carolina Wilmington to 1 shot, and that's going to be the key for them on defense.
Seahawks 2 for 6 in the opening 4 minutes of this game. The Redbirds 1 of 5 to start the game. And Muller in his 10th season, the former Illinois State star, 156 wins. Trying to get win number 157 here in the season opener tonight. We're glad that you're alongside. College Hoops returns tonight across the country. Abdu Jai in the game now. That's him trying to set a screen for Freeman. This is McChesney in the game for the first time. His 3 ball is off. Liam McChesney is a transfer from Utah State. And now a block shot from the big fella. This is Howard Fleming now in the game. Now Freeman follows the play. So the Redbirds going to their bench after that first media timeout.
The size differential we've talked about, playing 5 guards. So far, Illinois State with 2 block shots on layups and an altered one. It's been an advantage so far inside where they've kept that zone 1, that area around the basket, really protected on the drive so far.
5 on the shot clock. Freeman, his 3. Front of the rim, no good. Offensive rebound from Jai. Now his little jump hook is no good. Redbirds trying to get some offense going here. We got a jump ball. The possession arrow favors Illinois State. Redbirds have come out cold, but they've crashed the glass here.
You have to feel good if you're Dan Muller. You're getting a lot of effort and a lot of energy, and I think you expect that first game. We talked about 622 days without fans. Only 2 Redbirds on this roster have played in this arena with fans, so some nerves early on are expected, but thus far, energy and effort have all been there.
That's so hard to believe. Only 2 players on that Illinois State roster have played before fans in this arena. Fleming. Good defense by the Seahawks. They've cut off a lot of the passing lanes. Abdu Jai off a double team. Now Fleming. His 3 is short and out of bounds, and so shot clock violation did not nick the rim. And so the Seahawks bench up and clapping. Good defensive effort for North Carolina Wilmington.
So far, both teams really struggling to figure out the other squad on defense. Wilmington denying passing lanes. ISU kind of protecting the rim and taking away both teams' strengths so far.
Redbirds in a 3-minute scoring drought. North Carolina Wilmington in a 3.5-minute scoring drought. So you're right, the defense is right now dictating this one. Difficult shot, contested, but a rebound coming in. So an offensive rebound keeps the series alive here for the Seahawks. Baseline move. That was missed. That's Amari Kelly off the bench from the Duquesne transfer. Now quickly up the floor. It's Josiah Strong missing. And it's cleared by Sims. Here comes that up-tempo game now for the Seahawks. Quickly back up the floor in the half court and a whistle.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Illinois State does not want to do. And too quick of a shot from Josiah Strong. And Wilmington, typically you're going to see an outlet pass to a point guard and get things set. Wilmington doesn't do that. They're going to go 1 through 5. Whoever gets the rebound, they're going to push. Sims right there found a mismatch, and that was the advantage. When you get the rebound as you're the 4, a lot of times the post player is not expecting you to bring the ball up the floor. Defense isn't set, and he draws an easy foul.
We're seeing Ryan Schmidt for the first time, 6'11", transfer from Des Moines Area Community College. So right now the Redbirds have 6'10" Liam McChesney in the game and 6'11" Ryan Schmidt.
And even Howard Fleming is big for a guard, and so masking some of Mark Freeman's height. And there's another block shot as we talked about protecting that basket. The Redbirds' height is giving Wilmington some serious problems so far early in the game.
Fleming gives to Freeman, tries to lob it down low, and again it's out of bounds. The Redbirds turn it back over and give it to the Seahawks.
Number 13, Trazarian White.
You can definitely see the contrasting styles because North Carolina Wilmington wants to get up and down. They don't really want a half-court game, and the Redbirds have some size in there hoping to play a half-court game.
Yeah, and right now we've talked about it, but both teams, honestly, I think you have to be very happy if you're the coach. Offensively, you're certainly not, but defensively, everything that you're wanting to execute, we talked about not getting sped up, taking away the rim for Illinois State. They're doing that. Wilmington taking away everything Illinois State is trying to do.
White's in the game, and his first shot is no good and tipped around and controlled by Wilmington. And penetrating and scoring is Kelly. Big power move. And that snaps a 4.5-minute scoring drought for the Seahawks, who had missed their last 7 shots. We played 7 minutes, and we've got 9 total points in this one. Reeves down the lane, had it rejected. Seahawks quickly back down the floor. Difficult shot and a 3-point opportunity for Phillips.
And that's one of the first times you'll see on the replay that the Redbirds have not had a big guy in the paint. And Wilmington, when you play 5 guards, it can get stretched out. You'll see here, nobody in the paint but Howard Fleming. He gets beat on a step, and right there, that's what Wilmington's looking for. They want to exploit you by spreading you out, no help, and getting to the rim.
That's Phillips' game. He's got a quick, explosive first step. Again, just a sophomore from Winterville, North Carolina. Makes good on the foul shot.
Will be interesting to see what Wilmington brings here, and they're going to switch pressures. They have 4 different presses, and sometimes off a free throw or off a timeout, they're going to bring something different. And so we'll see if they just are going to give that token pressure to slow things down, or if they really want to try to get a trap here.
Phillips has 6 of his team's 9 points, and the lead is 6 for North Carolina Wilmington. Thomas in the game now, guarding Freeman. Chapman's pass is knocked out of bounds. Quick hands again. White deflected that pass. He's given his team a nice lift coming off the bench. Reeves gets a screen from Chapman with 4 on the shot clock. Pump fake. His shot is blocked from behind. Consecutive trips down the floor where the Seahawks come up with a block. And the Redbirds nearly get one there, and now they get a defensive rebound. And it's saved, and Illinois State somehow comes away with it. Redbirds have numbers 3 on 2. Freeman down, missed the shot. Quickly back down the floor. A frenetic pace here. White with a follow, and he's fouled, and he's going to get to the free throw line.
We just talked in Keys about speeding the game up, and that's about as fast of 4 possessions as you're going to see in college basketball right there.
Trazarian White will be at the free throw line when we come back. His North Carolina Wilmington Seahawks have a 9-3 lead. Early on here at Redbird Arena, it's North Carolina Wilmington 9 and Illinois State 3. You see his back is to us, but Takeo Siddle in his 2nd season at North Carolina Wilmington, he took the program over on March the 13th, 2020, about the time that the whole sports world was crashing to a halt with the COVID outbreak. And only had 17 games a year ago. His team was 7-10. So this is year 2. How'd you like to be introduced as the coach, and the next day the world stops?
Well, we talked, but he had been an assistant there, and so he had the benefit of having seen campus, and he was voted the number 4 recruiter in the country. And we've talked transfers and freshmen. Takeo Siddle, at Wilmington, you're not attracting Power 5 talent maybe, but if he can play the transfer portal and the type of game he likes to play, looks like he's set up for success here to turn a program around that was preseason 9th in the CAA.
Dan Muller is one of 44 men coaching at their Division I alma maters. That number is actually up. It was 35 a year ago, so there's 44 men coaching at their alma maters in Division I. That's a pretty big number.
It's crazy, and you talk to Dan Muller, and he's so passionate about Illinois State. And you talk to fans here who have watched him play, and the program support is something that he really talks of. And if anybody is going to sell their program, you have to think it's someone who played in the program years ago.
So Trazarian White, freshman from Texas, who's really played well off the bench here, knocks down both the free throws. The lead is now 8 for the visiting Seahawks, 11-3. Redbirds really need to get a basket here. They've just gone ice cold. Strong looks inside for Chapman, and there's a foul on a reach around that time from Amari Kelly.
It looks like Illinois State is just trying right now to figure out what works. And they're trying to get into their offense, and they're trying to get post touches. And I think once they break that seal a little bit and find something that works, they're going to get some confidence. But right now it seems like Antonio Reeves has been the main option in terms of getting the ball to the rim.
He's going to knock down a 3, and that ends a 6-minute and 9-second scoring drought for the Redbirds.
We talked in the open players to watch, but Antonio Reeves, that's something that the best player on your team has to do. When you are struggling to score, when you're in a rut, when things are starting to go south, the best player on your team has to make a play for you to get things corrected, and that's what Reeves just did right there as he takes another step in his maturation to being an All-Valley player.
He has 5 of Illinois State's first 6 points, both of its field goals. And another block shot. That time it's Chapman. Long rebound goes out. The ball is still loose. Players on the floor. Reeves had a hand on it. The Redbirds were trying to call timeout. Iman Washington also on the floor. He just checked into the game. Good hustle by the Redbirds, and they're going to grant Illinois State a timeout there. Look at the sequence here. Chapman comes up with the block, and then it becomes a free-for-all going for the loose ball.
Trazarian White right there in the middle of it.
In fact, the officials have huddled here to make sure that they're giving the basketball to North Carolina Wilmington.
Possession arrow has switched back to Illinois State, so they're going to stick with the original call of jump ball there.
Makaru trying to create. Now this is Alec Oglesby in the game for the first time and knocks down his first shot. Sophomore player, a Cleveland State transfer. Now Reeves quickly back up the floor. Lewis gives it up to Strong. Now Lewis again lost it on the floor. Turnover Illinois State. Seahawks with the quick hands. North Carolina Wilmington quickly in the front court now. They want this pace to be fast, fast, fast. Phillips, before he can get the shot off, it's going to be an illegal screen again against the Seahawks. They've been whistled a couple of times on that.
Second one they've called, and that's something when you run an offense like the dribble drive motion that Wilmington runs, the ball screener is not responsible for that. The guard has to wait for the ball screen to get set and then move. And sometimes when you're dribbling so much, you get going so fast, the ball screener feels responsible and has to hit him. And that's typically the guard's fault, not so much the big man. And I'm sure that's what Takeo Siddle is telling his big man who just exited the game.
Reeves to Chapman down low, and he's going to get to the free throw line for the second time tonight. Chapman's got a big body, 6'8", 230 pounds. He's obviously one of the bulkier guys on this roster. And again, Illinois State wants to take advantage of the fact they've got more size.
And that right there will sound like a broken record here by the end of it, but that's a play Antonio Reeves doesn't make a year ago. Coming off a ball screen, throwing a great pass over a post player, and we've talked about it, the size Illinois State has, if you can get UNC Wilmington in foul trouble, they're not super deep on the interior, and that could cause some problems later in the game.
Chapman split the free throws on his first trip to the line and split them on his second trip, so he's got 2. It's 13-7, a 6-point UNC Wilmington lead, 9.5 minutes to go here in this first half. First meeting between these schools in 10 years. Oglesby, double team. 7 on the shot clock. 3 ball. That was Akaru who missed it. Here come the Redbirds now after a defensive stop. Good hands and a steal. This is White again for the finish. White has given the Seahawks just some nice minutes off the bench. And now we've got a whistle away from play here. It's going to go against UNC Wilmington.
Seahawks foul charge number 22, Kadeem Saad, his second personal.
All right, so the Redbirds again bringing some size in. They send Chapman to the bench, Washington to the bench, Kendall Lewis to the bench. They bring in Chesney again, and now Abdu Jai.
5 turnovers thus far on the Redbirds, 3 of which have just been on lazy passes, and we talked about denying the ball, and that's what Wilmington's looking to do. And so you wonder if this lineup, as the size tends to leave, as we see another turnover here, the size exits the game. It might be to get some more passing, some more fundamentals, some more perimeter-oriented play, as that's what's given the biggest problem to the Redbird offense.
So far, the game plan for North Carolina Wilmington is working. They got an 8-point lead with the basketball, and they're disrupting Illinois State. This is Phillips again. Missed it from the short side, though, and cleared by Abdu Jai. Freeman, crossover dribble on Phillips, and a foul. Well, those two guys are the quickest players on the floor, that's for sure.
Seahawk foul charge number 2, Shaquem Phillips. His first personal.
So Shaquem Phillips pulls up. That's his first. But now there's 17 fouls on Wilmington, so the Redbirds have hit the bonus. Mark Freeman led the OVC in free throw shooting percentage a year ago, just a notch under 82%, playing for Tennessee State. So this is a spot that he likes to be at, the foul line.
The interesting connection, Penny Collins, former assistant for the Redbirds, is the head coach at Tennessee State, where Mark Freeman came from, and Dedrick Boyd is now there. And so almost in a weird transfer portal swap, we've got a one-for-one trade-off with Tennessee State and a former assistant for Dan Muller as the head coach there.
He was an all-Ohio Valley second-teamer a year ago. He makes the free throws. Redbirds within 6. 8 minutes to go here in this opening half. Quiet half for Sims. And just like that, he's in the scorebook after a 3. So he missed his first 3 shots from the floor, averaging just under 18 points a game a year ago, knocks down his first 3. Freeman to the corner. This is Antonio Reeves. Quick catch and shoot out of the hands of Abdu Jai and into the hands of Jalen Sims. Now he's going to try it again. Does he have the hot hand? Couldn't get it to go. But it's tipped to the corner, and it's White who tracks it down.
We're going to hit the under 8 media here, and it's a 9-point game, and if you're Illinois State, a stop here is really big because it feels like it's on the verge of getting away from you.
Sims takes it to the rim, and he's fouled. Foul against Illinois State. Timeout on the floor. 7:22 to go first half. 18-9. UNC Wilmington has doubled up the Redbirds here at Redbird Arena. Let's take a look at our Toyota out-of-town scoreboard on this opening night of the college basketball season. Missouri State and Southeast Missouri State are even at the half. Look at what Loyola's doing at Coppin State. 45-9 at the half. Drake, the Valley favorite, has a halftime lead on Co. Northern Iowa and Nichols State are tied at the half, and Green Bay has a 3-point lead on Indiana State at the half. Our Toyota out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Toyota. Visit Toyota.com. The Seahawks right now dictating the pace of the game, and they've got the basketball in a 9-point lead as we approach 7 minutes left in this first half. Redbirds need to get things going offensively. They've hit just one of their last 12 shots and give up a drive to the basket again for Phillips.
Career stat-wise, Shaquem Phillips has only attempted 17 three-pointers in 32 games, and so you have to start to wonder, are they going to sag back a little bit and try to make him a shooter, as that right-hand drive right now has just really been a problem for the Illinois State guards.
And Sims on the floor to get the loose ball, and quickly the Seahawks call timeout to avoid having a traveling violation against him as he lost his footwork there. But again, another stop for the Seahawks on the defensive end. The Redbirds have no field goals in their last 4.5 minutes, and I think you really have to give credit to that Seahawks defense.
I think you do, and I think it's hard. We talked to Director of Basketball Operations, Jon Pemberton, who told me that this week Illinois State actually practiced against 6 defenders and sometimes 7 defenders to replicate the speed of UNC Wilmington, but that's really hard when you have a roster that's not built for that and you can't replicate it in practice. It's a lot different to see it in game action, and I think that's what you're seeing is the speed, the hand-checking, the denials. Wilmington is really exerting their will in terms of what they're trying to execute on the defensive end on the Redbird offense.
Boy, for a team that had 11 games canceled by COVID last year and played such a short schedule, if you were wondering, if they'd show any rust, how would they do coming out? I think they've done just fine on the road coming out in the season opener.
Especially when you look at the fact that Wilmington is a team that 0-7 in their last 7 road openers, 5-18 overall in true road games, and so to handle the crowd, and right here you see Fornes.
Yeah, Jalen Fornes.
And that was the first look at the Illinois State zone defense, and we talked about what are they going to do with the right-hand drive and getting to the rim, and so Dan Muller tries a zone to take away the penetration and immediately gives up a three-pointer in the zone.
Now, if that foul is on Phillips, and it is, he's picked up a couple of fouls here. So he just picked up his second foul, and he likely will head to the bench here with 6:20 to go at half, and Chapman is going to go right back to the free throw line. Yeah, Fornes, the man who knocked down that three, the transfer from Nichols State, led his team a year ago in three-point shooting at 39%. And so the Redbirds certainly would need to identify him in a zone. Chapman back to the free throw line now.
Let's see what defense Dan Muller goes with. He has, in the past, tried to get out of the zone when it gets scored on. And so you wonder if that was one possession to just change the tempo or if he's going to try to stick with that in a lineup right now that he has decent size on the floor. And Mark Freeman's picking up Josiah Strong with a run and jump. So it looks like they're going to stick with the zone.
And the Seahawks handle that. Chapman comes away with a deflected pass. They were trying a lob, looking in the direction of Kamari McGriff on a lob play, but that was swatted out of there. You're going to see this by Chapman.
Two-three zone here for Illinois State, and so Dan Muller's going to stick with it to try to eliminate that dribble penetration that's hurt the guard so far from Illinois State.
And this time they get it down low and a reverse lay-in after all from McGriff.
And the number one thing in the zone, especially when you're running that 2-3 where they like to extend it out, you can't get stretched and you have to play with high hands. And right there, all 5 Illinois State defenders, hands down at their legs, and the bounce pass just easily skips through the paint for a nice, easy layup.
It's a 15-point lead for UNC Wilmington. Freeman, difficult shot. He flipped that one in. So Freeman now with 4 points on the game. And again, the Seahawks break pressure. The shot is missed by Sims and cleared by Chapman. Now the Redbirds back in the front court. This is Reeves. His floater is no good. The ball is on the floor, and the UNC Wilmington Seahawks in transition, and a bucket in transition from Jamari Thomas.
There's that recruiting we talked about, Takeo Siddle. That's Jamari Thomas, a freshman, and his game is very similar to Shaquem Phillips. And so 2 fouls on your point guard, but how nice of a luxury is it to bring another point guard off the bench who's as athletic as Thomas is?
Yeah, right now the Seahawks playing with a couple of freshmen on the floor. And still protecting that 15-point lead. Under 5 minutes to go here, first half. And Fornes trying to create there. Had a nice pump fake, but he couldn't finish. Now we've got a whistle and a timeout, Illinois State. Dan Muller wants to talk things over. His team down 15 with 4.5 minutes to go here at the half. All right, we're going to stay here.
I think if you asked Dan Muller at the 4:30 mark in the first half, if Okaru and Sims combined for 3, the 2 all-conference players for Wilmington, you'd feel pretty good about where things stand. And so they've done a good job on the 2 guys coming in who have the preseason accolades, but really it's been the role players for Wilmington doing most of the damage.
All right, we'll step aside here. 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. It's 27-12. North Carolina Wilmington leads here at Illinois State. We mentioned this is the 6th all-time meeting between the 2 schools. None of the players on either sideline have played one another, but when they first started this series back in the 90s, Dan Muller was a player at Illinois State, so he's actually played in this series twice and split the games in his playing days. But again, these 2 teams haven't played since December the 3rd of 2011. Long time in between games between the 2 schools. 4.5 minutes to go here in this first half. The Redbirds really need to get some sort of a spark here late in the first half to see if something will carry over, because right now, and they nearly turned it over in the backcourt, and they do turn it over just on the throw-in. Been one of those nights. Okaru for 3. Missed it, and the rebound controlled by Chapman.
The number of new players for the Redbirds seems to be part of the problem right now. And there you see it's just a simple inbounds out of a timeout and just a little bit of a miscommunication. And that's going to happen when you have a lot of guys who haven't played a lot of games together.
And there's Reeves. He's been Illinois State's best scorer tonight. 3 out of 7 from the field. He's got 7 of his team's 14 points.
Back to the zone here.
Sims is double teamed. 8 on the shot clock. Lob down lows rejected. McChesney again, now quickly back in the front court. This is Strong. Freeman steps into a 3. Can't get it. The Seahawks are not walking the ball up the floor. Quickly back down, but an offensive foul is going to be called against Alec Oglesby. So a lot of time to be played, a lot of basketball to be played here, but the Redbirds really need to kind of put something together here at the end of the half.
A big 3 minutes here, and Reeves has been the guy, and someone else could step up right now. And if you can get this to single digits, the way they've really played on offense, if you're Dan Muller, you feel pretty good going into the half if this one doesn't get out of hand.
Chapman the miss. Strong tried to keep it alive. He tipped to the corner, but Michael Koru comes down with it for North Carolina Wilmington. A missed shot now for the Seahawks. It's cleared again by McChesney. Reeves trying to create. His 3 is in.
Wow.
Reeves now in double figures with 10. And a steal, and the Redbirds come away with it. It's Reeves again, and he's fouled. A 3-point opportunity, and he has a chance for 6 points in about 10 seconds.
That's first-team All-MVC level talent there. I mean, the shot making, that finish, and we said in the open, bigger, faster, stronger, and it seems like a lot of those workouts, 34 in the exhibition, 12 here. Antonio Reeves is a big-time scorer.
Reeves trying to personally pull the Redbirds right back into this one. Has an opportunity now for a three-point play. He just made a three from the outside. Reeves now with 13 of Illinois State's points. Illinois State's 20.
Extending that zone here and trying to really pick up on the momentum here. Another potential stop and bucket, and all of a sudden, two-possession game with 2 minutes left in the first half.
The Redbirds really needed a spark, and maybe they're getting it here from Reeves in the final couple of minutes. Forns trying to create. They go inside to Sims with 4 on the shot clock. He works on Chapman. His fadeaway. Rolls in. Soft touch for Jalen Sims. Just his second field goal make. He's got 5 points. So it's been a slow first half for him. The Redbirds have kept him kind of in check, but the rest of the his supporting cast has really stepped up.
Number 3, Howard Fleming replaces Mark Freeman.
All right, so Howard Fleming has checked in, the sophomore. Sends Freeman back to the bench. It's a 9-point lead for UNC Wilmington. Reeves now. He's the one with the hot hand. He looks inside. He goes to Chapman. Nice entry pass in the finish.
It seems that Dan Muller feels like he's found something with this zone, and that last one, Sims, a very tough 6-footer, and it's certainly not a drive to the basket. And so it looks like we're going to see a lot of Illinois State zone moving forward.
Jalen Forns penetrates on that. The Redbirds were wondering if he'd be called for an offensive foul.
Not sure what else you can do there if you're Cy Chapman. I mean, he went vertical, which is the big emphasis, is you can't hunch over with the arms. And it looked to me, Forns kind of created that contact and potentially a no call there, as Chapman picks up his second.
Forns is an interesting story. He's one of 16 players in the country who was transferred back to his original school. He started at North Carolina Wilmington, then transferred to Nichols State, and then after Takeo Siddle was named the head coach, is now back with the Seahawks. You might see that in a pro league, but you really don't see that in college hoops.
The familiarity with campus is certainly something. You know, when you transfer, you have to learn all about where your classes are, and Jalen Forns certainly won't struggle with that.
Reeves missed the three, and it's going to be Illinois State's basketball. Liam McChesney, who's really played well, I think, off the bench, fought for that loose ball, and he got it off the rebound, and he was fouled.
It won't show up a ton in the box score, as Liam McChesney's only 0 for 1, but like Kurt, you just mentioned, 2 rebounds, 2 fouls, but 3 blocks. The energy has been there. He's kept plays alive. He's rebounded very well. He's got 3 block shots in 9 minutes. For someone who's new to the program and trying to find a role on the floor, just bringing that energy right now could be Liam McChesney's key here to getting more minutes in the second half.
And a guy who only played 3 games last year due to a leg injury at Utah State. He really hasn't played in just about 2 years, really.
The first 3-pointer he put up was a little quick, and now the free throw comes off the backboard a little hard, and so you feel like Liam McChesney might start to calm down a little bit as he gets some more minutes. And right now, when we talk about the 5-guard lineup from Wilmington, his size but his ability to play on the perimeter is a good matchup for Illinois State to have on both ends of the floor.
Much better on the second foul shot. His first points of the night. First point, as we're under a minute to go here now with 51 seconds to play. The Redbirds were once down by 15 and have cut it down to 6. So indeed, Illinois State has kind of come together here in the last 3 minutes as we had hoped. Okoro to the corner. This is Forns. Rattles down a 3.
3-point field goal, Jalen Forns.
one of those ones when you run the zone, that's kind of what you're gonna give up. If you extend the zone out to half court and they break it in that high post, that high post player has options, and their Fourn's open in the corner, knocks it down and runs the lead back to 9 here as we get one more possession before the half.
Yeah, essentially the game clock and the shot clock are identical here, maybe a half a second differential. So the Redbirds will hold for 1. Reeves trying to create. Behind a screen from Lewis, he's double-teamed. He kicks it to Fleming. 2 on the clock. His shot is deflected, and good defense again by the Seahawks, and that's the end of the half. North Carolina Wilmington, led by as many as 15. They'll head to the locker room with a 9-point lead, 32-23. North Carolina Wilmington leads Illinois State, the season opener here at Illinois State University. It's the Valley on ESPN at halftime. Back here at Redbird Arena, Kurt Pegler, Sean Johnson, our Redbird production crew with you for the season opener with North Carolina Wilmington leading Illinois State 32-23. Take a look at some of the highlights which shaped the first half. You're going to see a lot of transition buckets. You're going to see some block shots. We saw it on both really ends of the floor, but really for North Carolina Wilmington, they have controlled the pace that they want to play at.
Yeah, when you talk about executing your game plan, I would say so far it seems that Wilmington has, and we talked about it, but you're seeing right now a lot of up and down basketball, which Wilmington likes to play, a lot of shots at the rim. Here is a foul. That's what they want to do. And so Illinois State in the second half, from a highlight standpoint, someone outside of Antonio Reeves needs to be part of the highlights. And you're going to have to stop things like this. No drives to the basket, and you need to take care of the ball. No more turnovers, no more lazy passes. Figure some things out in terms of executing your game plan, in terms of letting Wilmington dictate what we're trying to accomplish here.
Illinois State led in scoring by Antonio Reeves. He has 13 at the half, and the next closest, Cy Chapman, has 5. Wilmington led by their sophomore guard, Phillips. Shaquem Phillips has 9, and White off the bench has scored 4, Trazarian White. So, again, some balanced scoring on that end, but the Redbirds were down by 15 and made a nice little comeback at the end of the half. However, it is a 9-point spread for Wilmington. As you see, the shooting percentages, neither of them are anything that you want to write home about, even with rebounds. And then you start looking at the assist-to-turnover ratio, certainly an area that the coaching staffs will be looking at.
Yeah, and Illinois State, 2 assists on 7 baskets with 7 turnovers. And that's just not going to – that explains a lot of the field goal percentage. A team like Wilmington is getting out and denying the ball and trying to pressure. If you can get past them and drive and share the basketball, it makes the offense flow a lot easier. And Antonio Reeves scoring one-on-one has been about the best source of offense right now for Illinois State.
I should correct myself. Jalen Fourns has 6 points and Jalen Sims has 5. Those are the other supporting the cast players, if you will. Sims has been the leading scorer for such a long time, but his supporting cast has really backed him up tonight. And his North Carolina Wilmington Seahawks have a 32-23 halftime lead here at Illinois State. Back with our halftime report with more in just a moment. We are moments away from starting the second half. Illinois State trails UNC Wilmington 32-23. Time to take a look at our updated Toyota out-of-town scores. Southeast Missouri State leading Missouri State. Loyola's got complete control on Coppin State. Drake's got a big lead on Coe College. You see that Northern Iowa has a 2-point lead on Nicholls State. And Green Bay is edging Indiana State on the first night of the college basketball season.
Looks like Loyola, first game without Porter Moser, certainly not skipping a beat. And the top half of the Valley this year, I mean, you look at this, Drake, Loyola, UNI, Missouri State, Southern return, I think it's something like 90% of their scoring. And so if you're Illinois State, you know, it's a tough task, but historically the Missouri Valley, a great basketball conference, and this is going to be about as good as it's been top to bottom in quite a few years.
Well, certainly the top of the league is going to be very strong this year. So that was a look at our out-of-town and our Missouri Valley Conference preseason poll. Brought to you by Toyota. Visit your Peoria, Pekin, Bloomington Toyota dealers today. And here at Redbird Arena, it's 32-23, UNC Wilmington leading the Redbirds. All right, what kind of changes do you think the Redbirds made at halftime here?
Well, we talked about running some zone, and Dan Muller kind of stuck with it the last 8 minutes, and that was kind of when Illinois State made their run. And so I'm sure you're going to see probably some size, some length. Liam McChesney is going to be out there more, and you're going to run some zone. Wilmington, I think, you know, they run 4 presses, and we've only seen 1, and so I think you're going to start to see some more trapping, try some zone press, keep Illinois State out of their rhythm. Don't let this. You talk about the first 4 minutes here are going to be very pivotal because 9 could turn to 16 or 17 for Wilmington, or vice versa. Illinois State could turn this into a tie game, and you've got a whole new game. So this first 4 minutes here is going to be really telling to see who executes their game plan the best.
Again, both of these teams won 7 games a year ago. Both of them feature a whole bunch of rosters. In fact, a whole bunch of transfers on their roster. In fact, North Carolina Wilmington, 7 of their 14 players, half their roster, are transfer players. And so, again, coming from similar places a year ago and similarly trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work here in the first game of the season. So the Redbirds will have possession to open this second half, trailing by 9 as we start this second half. Freeman nearly lost it, gets it back. Here's Strong. Had a quiet first half. Reeves for 3. Yes.
Really unselfish play by Josiah Strong there. He had a three-point look and then a pull-up jumper. Both were kind of off balance, and he passed up a bad shot to get a good shot for his teammate. All of a sudden, 6-point game here for Illinois State.
And a 16-point effort now for Reeves in the first minute of the second half. That's an air ball as Jalen Fornes tried to answer with a 3. And not to beat a dead horse, but we talked about how Antonio Reeves has really stepped his game up. He averaged about 12 points a game a year ago, 16 here essentially in the first, 21 minutes of this game.
That jump from sophomore to junior year also, and physically Antonio Reeves looks different. He did grow an inch, but just stronger. And when you have a better sense of balance and you're moving better, great pass from Freeman here. Antonio Reeves is physically matching what his skill set always was, expanding his game, and it's made a big difference here in the exhibition and now tonight.
Well, the Redbirds are much more confident here in the second half. They've scored on their first 2 possessions. It took them probably about 12 or 13 possessions to get their first 2 buckets in the first half. Phillips again penetrating. He can't finish. Now Freeman quickly back up the floor come the Redbirds. Josiah Strong can't get it to go. It's Chapman who fights for it, and he's fouled. Redbirds kind of taking the best punch that they have from North Carolina Wilmington and trying to deliver a punch of their own here.
Really a mature play there, too, from Antonio Reeves, and we've talked about him a lot, but he's got 16. He's capable of making that shot, but you saw Josiah Strong pass up a good one for a great one. Same with Reeves there. Dan Miller has to be happy. That's a sign of an unselfish basketball team, and that would have been a bad shot by Reeves, but a good look by Strong that led to an offensive rebound, and the Redbirds maintained possession.
Freeman lost the dribble, not a Chapman. He'll attempt the shot short of the rim. Rebound Lewis in traffic. Can't get it to go. Got it back. Stuck it in. Kendall Lewis with his first field goal as a Redbird. And suddenly it's a 1-possession game.
Fans are back in the building, and we're getting some noise here. The first time the Illinois State fans have had an opportunity to try to get their team some momentum.
And Sims' contested shot is no good, and the Redbirds can shoot for the tie or for the lead. Freeman, 3. Phillips is double teamed. Seahawks move the ball into the corner, and another airballed shot. They've had about 3 of them here in the second half, the first minutes of the second half. But a foul on Illinois State. That's going to be on Strong. The Redbirds again bring in some size as they have done that by subbing in Abdu Jai and Liam McChesney a couple times here tonight. Bring them in together. Baker at the free throw line. This is James Baker, the Morehead State transfer, with the first points of the second half now for the Seahawks.
Second on the team at Morehead in offensive rebounding. And for somebody like we mentioned, Liam McChesney, same thing here with James Baker, is if you want to find a spot on a new team, maybe just be that garbage man, clean up on the glass. And right there you see Michael Karu with a long shot. Teams that shoot a lot of three-pointers like that, you're going to get some uncanny rebounds. And right there, James Baker capitalizes. Could be his role here on this Wilmington team.
Freeman's going to try a tough shot and make it. Freeman with 6. Back to a 2-point game. This is Fornes, penetrates, had it rejected. It was Abdou-Jai who got his hand in there. Quickly back up the floor. Freeman can't finish, but he's fouled.
The Illinois State size and length is giving some problems to the Wilmington guards. And to start the half, Shaquem Phillips had a great drive that he got altered by Cy Chapman. And that one, you see Fornes with a great drive, but Abdou-Jai is at the rim to block it. We've talked about playing 5 guards, and right now Wilmington, every time they're into the paint, you can see kind of a little move on a layup, or they're shooting it different. Great role playing by Abdou-Jai to get in here, alter some shots, and lead us an instant offense on the other end for Illinois State.
The Redbirds have 7 blocks on the game. And Mark Freeman has tied this ball game up at 34. And the Redbirds have erased that 15-point first half deficit, and in the first 3 minutes and 20 seconds of the second half have tied the game.
And here's only our second look at Amon Washington, who played 3 minutes in the first half, and someone you'd expect to contribute for Dan Muller's Redbird team after the number of minutes he played as a freshman. We'll see if maybe his length on the perimeter causes some problems for the Wilmington guards as well.
Phillips penetrates. Difficult shot. It's blocked by Reeves. Redbird D again. That's the 8th block of the night for Illinois State. Coast to coast, Reeves is fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line and try to give Illinois State the lead. There's the block on one end and the finish on the other, coast to coast.
Antonio Reeves at the line for the Redbirds, shooting 2.
Redbirds have their first lead since very, very early in this game.
What a great sign for Illinois State. And we talked about the new players. They've got some youth, preseason expectations, and you come out in the first half, and you're not going to say lay an egg, but you're certainly not playing the way you did. What a mature response by this team to battle all the way back. Antonio Reeves, a big step forward as the best player, as being the leader, and he really shouldered the load there to get them back. And now with your first lead, how do you respond? You're all the way back, but you have to continue to build on this, and we've seen them get stops. But really, I think if you're Dan Muller, a happy coach here, that such a mature response from a team that has a lot of new pieces on the floor.
Phillips works on Reeves. Tough shot, he scores. And so the first field goal of the second half for the Seahawks is from Phillips. He's in double figures with 11, and we're even at 36. Washington with Sims on him, and they switch out. Now it's Jai. Left open. Missed the shot. Tipped out of bounds. That might be Illinois State basketball. We've got a timeout on the floor. 15-19 to go, second half. Good second half start for Illinois State. They've tied the game at 36.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota. Yeah. With great deals, get ready to turn your dreams into reality.
Hurry in, because right now you can lease a new 2021 RAV4 for $209 a month. To learn more about this and other great offers, visit Toyota.com.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, I didn't order any pizza.
Jake from State.
It's been over 600 days since fans were at Redbird Arena for a men's basketball game. And it's nice to see the crowd back here to cheer on Illinois State.
This building was redone 2 years ago, and so really only 1 year in a brand new renovated arena before it was shut down. And we talked about when they made a run and you started to hear some noise, that really lifts the team. And Dan Muller, we talked about it, a guy who played for this program, understands the importance of fans. Second half has given the people in this building a lot to cheer about so far.
Yeah, the Redbirds have opened the half on a 13-4 run and will have possession here. The ball was out of bounds off of North Carolina Wilmington. And so it's Redbird basketball as John Munn, the Illinois State head trainer, is out there trying to get some of the perspiration off the floor. Again, a very slow start for the Redbirds in the first half, and we're down by as many as 15 points, but have fought back here now in this good start to the second half. This is Cy Chapman. Goes back his way in, pump fake and finish. Cy Chapman with a nice post move. He's got 9. The Redbirds back in front by a bucket.
That's going to be important for a team without a true 5-man. If they can get some post touches and some easy baskets in the paint from Cy Chapman, takes a lot of pressure off those guards, which are kind of the central focus of the Illinois State offense.
Following Illinois State away from the basketball, that's going to be on Howard Fleming.
Just not a good foul right there from Howard Fleming. Close game. UNC Wilmington, 25th in the country last year in free throw percentage. You don't want to get them any closer to the bonus than you need to on an unnecessary hold there on a cut through the lane.
Yeah, now the Seahawks have difficulty inbounding the ball, so Phillips has to burn a timeout here. 38-36, Illinois State the lead. We'll step aside. 14:57 to go here in the opener at Redbird Arena. First game of the season. Let's take a look at some of the upcoming schedules here in this first week of the year. The Redbirds have a game with Eastern Michigan, then Murray State at home, and Bucknell and the Cancun Challenge are immediately ahead for the Redbirds. And for the Seahawks of North Carolina Wilmington, who have a bunch of road games, they've got Guilford, Pittsburgh, and Coastal Carolina. 8 games on the month of November, 6 are on the road. This is the third time in 4 years that North Carolina Wilmington is opening the season on the road, so they're going to be road tested here in this first month of the season. Redbirds have ditched that zone, and they're going to a man, it looks like, here now in the final 6 seconds here on the shot clock here in this possession. Sims, his 3 is long off the back of the rim. Phillips goes up and gets it and brings it back out. They'll reload the offense. And now an illegal screen again. That's the third time tonight that the Seahawks have been called on it. Amari Kelly, the guilty party here.
This is about the biggest lineup Illinois State can put on the floor, too. And so getting out of the zone and into the man, the size of the guards with McChesney and Chapman is going to cause some problems for that offense that Wilmington likes to run, that dribble drive motion. You saw right there, the length really pushed their offense out and led to another illegal screen on Kelly.
In and out of the hands of McChesney. He tries to save it and turn it back over. Now Sims in the front court on Fleming, and that might be his 4th foul. Yeah, so Howard Fleming has just picked up his 4th foul with 14 minutes to play here, and he'll quickly have to head to the Redbird bench.
Illinois State foul charge number 3, Howard Fleming, his 4th personal, 3rd team foul. Possession out of bounds to the Seahawks. Number 0, Mark Freeman. Number 2.
So Freeman and Strong are now back in the backcourt for Illinois State. Kendall Lewis has checked back in as well, so the Redbirds sub out some of that size. Now Sims, one-on-one with Chapman. 10 seconds to shoot on this play clock. Now to the corner. 3 is missed and cleared by Chapman.
Really good defense there by Illinois State. And Lewis and Chapman able to switch a ball screen there. not a lot of teams in the country have the size at the 4-5 right there and the ability to guard the perimeter the way Illinois State just did.
Freeman tried to lob one to Chapman. Back down the floor. Phillips misses. Sims goes up and gets it. His rebound shot's no good. It's tipped in. See if they credit that one with Kelly. They do. So the freshman from Georgia tips that one in. And he evens the score at 38. Josiah Strong, a good time for him to make his first three-pointer of the night. He missed his first 4 shots from the floor before knocking down that 3.
Really good set there with double ball screen the screener, and Josiah Strong has taken some shots a little quick in the shot clock or in transition. That one open, on balance, in rhythm, out of a set, and that's exactly what you want to drop if you're Dan Muller to get your guy going.
Freeman down the lane, had it knocked out of his hands. Out of bounds, the Redbirds maintain possession. And Jabju Jai is going to come back in for Illinois State.
There's no lack of confidence so far in Mark Freeman. You've gotten the sense that every big moment, he took the 3 when it was 32-30 to try to take the lead. He took the ball right to the basket there. You get the sense that right now it's Antonio Reeves' team, but Mark Freeman certainly is trying to put his stamp on a big moment, and maybe with 12:21 left, he'll have that opportunity here as we come down the wire.
Baker has re-entered the game, too, for North Carolina Wilmington. But the Redbirds have a difficult time again getting the ball in. It's a turnover. Okaru comes away with it, and the feed and the foul, and a three-point opportunity. It was White with the finish again.
Realistically, the lazy passes in the half court haven't so much hurt Illinois State as it's been set defense.
Number 2, Josiah Strong, his second personal, 4th team foul. White at the line for the Seahawks, 3-point play.
Trazarian White, 6'6", 180, freshman from Mansfield, Texas. All kinds of athleticism, that's for sure. Long rebound off the missed free throw, though, and it's a step down the sideline scenario for Mark Freeman.
White had 15 in their exhibition, 6 tonight. We talked about Baker, but also a role here for White as kind of that athletic fill in the blank wherever you need him to go. And he can't really shoot it so much, but right now he's been able to create some offense so far in transition, getting steals and getting out.
They've gotten nice minutes from a couple of freshmen, McGriff and White. And really, Phillips is a sophomore, but probably should be a freshman after only playing a couple of games a year ago. Oglesby left open from the corner. Missed the shot. Loose ball is controlled by Abdujai. Freeman all the way down and a kick out. Washington for 3. Missed it. Oglesby's going to try another 3. Had a couple of good looks, but he couldn't get it to go down either time.
He did shoot 43% from 3 last year at Cleveland State, and so that's clearly what he was brought in as a transfer. That's his role out here. 2 good ones in transition, just didn't get him to go.
Strong. Too strong on that one. Freeman a rebound. Looking for help. How about Abdujai going to give a 3 a look?
Cy Chapman heads to the scorer's table, and that 0 for 2 from the three-point line might be the last 2 3-pointers Abdu and Jai gets to take tonight.
Little screen roll. Good defense as Baker looked to have an open lane. Redbirds cut him off. Down the floor, it's Jai. Little jump hook in the lane. That one won't go either. He couldn't get the long shot or the short shot to go. But he comes away with a nice play there as he knocked the ball out of bounds. And we have a timeout here. 10:27 to play in regulation. Illinois State 41, North Carolina Wilmington 40. It's the Valley on ESPN. The Illinois State defense has made it difficult on North Carolina Wilmington. They have protected the rim with 8 blocks tonight.
Keys to the game in the open, we said, own the paint. And the really impressive thing so far for Illinois State is 5 different players have blocked a shot. And so you're not really funneling them to a big guy. It's been a group effort. It's been at least 3 years since double-digit block shots. And with 10:27 left on the clock, the way Wilmington plays, Illinois State has really done a great job controlling the paint there, altering shots and blocking shots.
Yeah, the last time the Redbirds had double digits in blocks, they had 10 against Drake in a game in February of 2018. And they're sitting on 8 blocks right now with 10.5 minutes to play. Almost had another one there, but there's going to be a foul as Baker put it on the floor and worked the baseline.
Redbird foul charge, number 22, Kendall Lewis.
So Baker to the free throw line.
15 foul.
Again, one of 3 players listed as graduate school athletes here on this roster. Transfer from Morehead State, 4 years at Morehead State, averaged 7 points and about 4 rebounds a game.
Some critical minutes coming up here for the Illinois State defense. Wilmington last year 25th in the country at 77.3% from the line. 5 fouls so far. So you've got 1 more to give, and then you're giving Wilmington all the looks they want from the free throw line. And so with 10:20 left, you need a few minutes here of clean defense so you don't put them in the bonus too early.
We are even at 41 now with 10 minutes to play. Chapman has played well for the Redbirds. He backs in on Baker. Missed the shot. Baker held his ground there. And now the Seahawks have a chance to reclaim the lead. Now it's Baker's turn on Chapman as they body up to the lane. Little jump hook. Well done.
James Baker Jr.
5 points for Baker now. Redbirds back down the floor. Try to answer. Reeves is fouled as he takes it to the rim.
Seahawks foul charge to number 4, Mike Okaru, his second personal, 15 foul.
Back to the free throw line now for Reeves. Solid night for Antonio Reeves. He's the Chicago native who went out to Arizona for a season of high school basketball as well. But as Sean has mentioned, really kind of reshaped his body this summer and has come back bigger, stronger, faster, and certainly looks to be a scoring threat this year in the Valley. A 19-point game so far here tonight.
And truly done it in an efficient fashion. 6 of 11 from the floor, 3 of 5 from the three-point line, 4 of 5 from the line, and that's a good sign for somebody who is known for just being a spot-up shooter early in his career.
Now the Redbirds with a chance to get that lead back. Strong works the baseline, looking for help, flipped it out, and it's Chapman who hands to Reeves. He fires a 3 in. A 22-point night now for Antonio Reeves.
There's been some possessions where Illinois State has looked a little disorganized, but when you have a player of this caliber, Dan Muller will talk about it afterwards, I'm sure, but when someone like that can make something happen from 25 feet, it doesn't really matter if your offense is disorganized.
And now Reeves trying to play some defense. 5 on the shot clock. Baker again with that little hook. Chapman's going to try it from the outside. That's really not his shot.
Just a bad shot there. Multiple times now, Illinois State, we talked about Mark Freeman, has had Wilmington a little on the ropes and just shot really quick. And I respect the fact that they're trying to capitalize on momentum, but you need to run some good offense instead of take a quick one.
Okaru's going to get to the free throw line after he penetrated. And he'll be at the foul line when we come back. 7:52 to go. Good one here. Illinois State 45. UNC Wilmington 43, season opener here in Normal. It's the Valley on ESPN. Get another look at our Toyota out-of-town scores. Other teams in the Missouri Valley opening their seasons tonight. Late in the game, Southeast Missouri State still leading Missouri State, one of the Valley favorites. Loyola taking care of business on Coppin State. Drake had that lead now just down to 11 with Coe College. Northern Iowa trails Nichols State. And Green Bay has a 1-point lead on Indiana State. Those are second-half scores. Again, our Toyota out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Toyota. Visit your Peoria, Pekin, and Bloomington Toyota dealer today. Dan Muller's Redbirds right now with a 2-point advantage. However, Micah Koru at the free throw line with a chance to even the score here.
A very quiet night from the other all-conference member of the Wilmington Seahawks. Michael Caru was also honorable mention with Jalen Sims, and so a great job right now by Illinois State to take away the two best players on the Wilmington team right now who have combined for only 7 points. Typically average 32 together.
First points of the night for Caru, who's coming off a season where he averaged better than 14 a game. It's 45 all with 7:45 to go here at Redbird Arena, the season opener for both teams, and we're glad that you're alongside enjoying college hoops. The Valley on ESPN. Nice cut and dunk that time for Kendall Lewis.
Give the assist to Antonio Reeves.
Fade away. No good. It was Fornes who was contested. Good defense again by the Redbirds. Reeves trying to create. Washington in traffic. Try to muscle that one up. Can't get it to go. Kept alive momentarily by McChesney, and we've got a traveling violation against North Carolina Wilmington.
What outstanding effort from Liam McChesney, who, like we've mentioned, is going to search for his role on this team. And as he tries to find a shot on the offense, another extra possession here in a 2-point game that could be pivotal if Illinois State can capitalize. Great job by number 13, the transfer from Utah State, keeping the play alive.
Now Reeves with 7 on the shot clock. Step back. Rainbow 3 is in. He's feeling it tonight.
Takeo Siddle puts the play call sheet back in his pocket because there's not a lot of defenses he's going to call this year that are going to stop Antonio Reeves when he wants to do that.
Reeves with 25 points in 28 minutes. Phillips penetrates and fouled.
Right there, he just comes down with the left arm, and if Amon Washington stays vertical there, that's not a foul. And I think Dan Muller is trying to see a replay to plead his case, but if Amon Washington stays vertical, then we're not going to have any issues there. Instead, we're sending Wilmington to the line for 2.
Yeah, Takeo Siddle trying to figure out how do you defend Antonio Reeves. How does he get his offense kind of clicking again like it was in the first half? Again, credit the Redbird defense stepping it up intensity-wise here in the second half.
Absolutely, and Antonio Reeves right now, 25 of the 50 Redbird points, and you wonder, is Takeo Siddle going to take the ball out of his hands? Are they going to start to run and jump, or are they going to double and make someone else beat them here in the last 6 minutes of the game?
And a steal. Jumping the passing lane is White. Trezarian White with the finish and pulls his team within 2.
We mentioned Liam McChesney on the Illinois State side, but Trezarian White, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals.
How about Reeves, another 3. Rimmed it that time. Had a good look, but didn't knock it down. And so the Seahawks with a possession here and an opportunity to tie it or take the lead with a 3. White lost it. Still a loose ball, but we've got a foul here, it looks like. It's going to go against the Redbirds.
Redbird foul,
there's not much frustrating about Antonio Reeves tonight, but that is one where it's tough to coach that. He shot the ball incredibly well from range, playing one-on-one, but that one, it's your best offense, but it's not a good shot by any means in terms of basketball IQ. You just kind of have to live with it when he's got half your points, and that's the tough balance Dan Muller's going to have to walk when you've got a score like that. It's not a great shot, but it's also work tonight. How do you tell him, hey, we don't want that, take it later? That's a tough balance that they're going to have to find throughout the year.
And he goes to the free throw line, to the bench to likely get his final breather of this game. And White to the foul line with a chance to even the score. Very impressive game for this freshman. Yeah, he averaged 15 points a game. He scored 15 in the exhibition game in 19 minutes and has come here to Redbird Arena and played very well. He's now in double digits with 10, and we've got a whistle. And that's going to be Redbird basketball. Now Howard Fleming is back in the game. He's playing with 4 fouls. Redbirds get it into Freeman. Redbirds with 3 guards on the floor now. Freeman, Josiah Strong, and Howard Fleming Jr. Freeman trying to create. McChesney from the corner.
Will be interesting to see how long Dan Muller goes without Antonio Reeves on the floor. He's been half the offense tonight, and I'm not sure in the half court Illinois State has a lot going for them when he's on the bench. Maybe sneak through the media timeout and have him play the last 4.
Got a whistle, and if that's on Fleming, he's done for the night.
And they got him again on a cut.
A rough night for Fleming, who only played 8 minutes tonight. Scoreless, and he just fouled out. And now it's White right back to the free throw line with an opportunity to give his team the lead. It rolled off, but it's tipped and kept alive, and a pass down low is missed. It was Kelly who did a great job on an offensive rebound, but the Seahawks did not cash in. And White picked up the foul. Redbird's fortunate there.
The 9th block of the night for the Redbirds is again Liam McChesney, and you'll see here, gets a piece right at the very end and alters that shot. Great rebounding from the guards. With Fleming out with size, Josiah Strong has to do that.
Yeah, what a block party for the Redbirds tonight.
That 10 blocks we mentioned is 3rd most in school history, and 14 is the record with 11 in second. So with 4:26 left, Illinois State looking to maybe etch their name here in school history in the first game of the year.
Even at 50 as we approach the 4-minute mark left in the season opener. Reeves back on the floor, and that's him with the basketball. Trying to create, he gives it up to Freeman with 7 on the shot clock. Crossover dribble. Fade away. No good. Offensive rebound, Jai out of his hands, and a foul against the Seahawks. And we'll have a timeout on the floor. Our final media timeout. We're even at 50. 3:57 to go here in the season opener at Redbird Arena. So here we go. 3:57 to play here at Redbird Arena in the season opener. Illinois State and North Carolina Wilmington are tied at 50. So the fans that made it to Redbird Arena are seeing a tight game here down to the end.
And we're getting close to gut check time. And Jalen Sims, Wilmington's best player, has 5. Reeves, Illinois State's best player, has 25. It's going to get to a point here with both teams in the bonus. Who is going to execute better, and what are you going to run here out of a timeout? We've got NJ going to the free throw line. Illinois State potentially with a lead. Can they get a stop? What's Wilmington run? And then we'll see what everyone is made of here as we head towards the final buzzer.
Jai was only at the free throw line 4 times all of last year, just 2 out of 4 from the free throw line. So he comes out of the huddle now and comes to the free throw stripe to see if he can't give Illinois State the advantage. He knocked them both down confidently. Left open. A 3 is missed. Offensive rebound. And a block shot, the 10th of the game for the Redbirds. Baker had a look at a 3. He couldn't get it to go, and White had his shot taken out of his hands. Now the Redbirds with the basketball in a 2-point lead. Freeman trying to create. Josiah Strong for 3.
Mark Freeman has been hunting that big moment, and right there, a very mature play where he was trying to put that 2-point lead up and got stopped, who was able to kick out and find Josiah Strong for an open 3. And Strong, both his 3-pointers have come in rhythm on kickouts. That's a very good possession there for Illinois State.
Yeah, and they both come in very clutch moments for the Redbirds. Phillips lost control of the ball. Baker's in the right place at the right time. And a stolen pass and a foul at the timeline.
And they're going to call that intentional. It looked like Fornes grabbed Lewis by the waist, and in the NBA, they call that a take foul, but there's no rule like that in college, and it looks like they're going to call it an intentional foul here, which is about worst-case scenario. You saw Fornes, there's no play on the ball there, so it's just going to depend how the official wants to call it. But Lewis clearly had a step, and Fornes didn't need to. He had a defender back.
So they'll clear the free throw area, and Lewis, who was a 76% free throw shooter a year ago at Appalachian State, is going to get a couple of free throws. Known for his defense, he came up with a big defensive play there.
Antonio Reeves certainly has been the talk of the game right now, but the nice thing for Dan Muller here is the number of players we've mentioned in the last 2 minutes. Jai has the big free throws. We've talked about McChesney. Josiah Strong hits a 3, and now Kendall Lewis with a steal and free throws to potentially ice it off the intentional foul. So you're not just relying on Antonio Reeves. Contributions across the board from your role players here to help put the game away potentially.
And now the second part of that key is Illinois State gets the basketball back after the free throws.
Exactly, and we have seen Illinois State struggle to inbound it. They haven't necessarily turned it over in the half court, but 3 times so far tonight. The 5-second call early, the 1 out of the timeout. We'll see what they do here to get the ball inbounds. No pressure from the Wilmington defense, so they're just going to set it up in the half court and try to get a stop here.
Reeves fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line. He's bodied up by Micah Karu.
And the body language is changing for Wilmington here. It's 6 points, potentially going to 8 on Reeves. Whistle's not going their way, and this is a moment right here where they could start to splinter. And you might see a quick shot because they're a little frustrated, and that's exactly what Takeo Siddle does not want to see here as we go to the other end.
Reeves can make this a 3-point possession after the steal by Lewis, as Lewis split his free throws and Reeves made them both. And indeed, that turned out to be a 3-point possession for the Redbirds, and now suddenly it's an 8-point game. A 27-point night for Reeves. Fornes for 3. Strong, nice defensive rebound, but he stepped on the sideline. Well, the Redbirds have done that a couple of times here tonight.
With UNCW.
Now Fornes is going to get another look at a 3, and that one he makes. You can't give a good shooter that many opportunities.
No, and just a late rotation. It looks like they were trying to switch, and Jai was just a little late, and that's a tough shot by Fornes over the long arms of Abdu Jai, but credit to him. He's able to shoot it that high over the arms and keep it at a 5-point game for the Seahawks.
Yeah, big buckets. As we approach the 2-minute mark left in this one. Freeman penetrates, shoots it, misses it, and that's controlled now by the Seahawks. Freeman going for the steal on Phillips and the foul.
Two just really bad plays by Mark Freeman. He shoots a contested shot in the paint, and there almost takes an intentional foul, it looked like. He's chasing Phillips 40 feet from the basket, and all you have to do with a minute 50 left is get a stop, and instead you've put him at the free throw line for a team that we've mentioned shoots it really well from that spot.
Phillips 2 out of 3 tonight from the free throw line. He's had a solid effort. And the Redbirds are going to sub Iman Washington back in the game, and he'll take Freeman out.
Iman Washington replaces Mark Freeman in the Illinois State lineup.
Shaquem Phillips, both free throw makes, give him 14 on the night. And it went from an 8-point Redbird lead to a 3-point Redbird lead.
Massive possession here for the Redbirds, and you have to think something is going Antonio Reeves' way.
And the ball is on the floor, and the Redbirds are lucky to come away with it. A near steal. It's Reeves again, now in the corner. An open Josiah Strong for 3. Josiah Strong has made 3 gigantic three-point shots tonight. None bigger than that one.
What an unselfish play by Antonio Reeves, and we've talked about the maturity as a basketball player, and that's one of those things that he has got to get better at, and he already is. Right there, he's got 27, he's 8 of 14, he probably wants the ball. We've talked about Josiah Strong getting open, on balance, in rhythm threes, and that one right there, no better look tonight for him. Wide open, a great play, an unselfish play by Antonio Reeves, and maybe the play of the game for somebody who has 27 points is a pass.
Yeah, that went from being a disaster. There was a near turnover and an opportunity for the Seahawks to score and cut it to 1 or even tie the game, to a huge 3 from the corner for Strong, who's got 9 points on 3 of 8 shooting, but every one of those 3 balls that he's made tonight has come at a clutch time.
And Dan Muller's going back with this big lineup with Washington, Strong, and Reeves playing the guard positions, and so he's going to stick with the length, and he's going to stick with the man-to-man and keep Lewis and Jai on the floor.
80 seconds left in this one. Forns, his 3. Front of the rim, no good. Offensive rebound. And it's stuck back in.
Rebound basket, number 3, James Baker Jr.
That's James Baker Jr. The UNC Wilmington bench was asking for a foul even.
And if you're Josiah Strong, the box out has to be a little bit stronger. There's not much you're going to do from a size standpoint. And a good set by Wilmington to draw Abdu Jai out of the paint to get some rebounding opportunities. And if you're Josiah Strong, you have to know you might be undersized here against that lineup and just push a little bit harder.
The Seahawks are hoping that James Baker Jr. gives them some of that toughness in the paint and rebounding, and that's what he did there.
He did. 2 offensive rebounds tonight have led to 4 points directly, and that's how he's going to score. And so now a 4-point game with 107. You don't have to take a foul here if you're Wilmington. You could if you get the ball to someone you want shooting free throws, but right now you're okay setting up a press. And we've talked about the 4 different looks, and right now it's either going to be a man-to-man or potentially they're going to come out in a 1-2-2 or a 2-2-1 and look to press and try to get a turnover in the backcourt.
4-point Illinois State lead. The Redbirds with the basketball under their own basket. It'll be Washington to trigger.
And they are. They're going to go to that 1-2-2. And right here, that's where you don't want to go. And good on Antonio Reeves splitting the trap. And now Illinois State can set up their offense with 18 on the clock. You don't need to go fast here.
Now Reeves. 50 seconds and counting left in this one. Penetrating, scoop shot, 3-point opportunity for Antonio Reeves.
What a night for Antonio Reeves. We just said the biggest play he's going to make tonight could be a pass, and he just did it again here with the drive. And scoring at all three levels, playing through contact in those workouts we talked about. He looks bigger. He's playing stronger. None bigger right there than that bucket.
Short on the free throw. 6-point Illinois State lead. So it's a two-possession game. Forns again. This time he's short on his three. It's Josiah Strong, and a quick flip out to Washington, who's fouled. He was about half a second away from flicking it ahead to Abdu Jai, who was by himself by that basket, but a foul right about the half-court line.
And as the exhibition game does not count despite his 34, Antonio Reeves, a new career high tonight with 29, missed the free throw to get to 30, but what a game from him, and what a job by Abdu Jai, who right there alters another three-pointer by Forns.
Well, it's been a quiet night for Iman Washington, but big free throws here. He made the first one. Split the free throws. Under a half a minute left. Sims, step back three. They're going to say it's an offensive foul.
Point of emphasis, kicking that foot out, and it looks like the referee right on top of it thought Jalen Sims created that contact with Antonio Reeves trying to get a foul. We'll take a look at it here. That right foot goes way out, and the officials this year have been told to call that right on top of it there.
And the Redbirds have a chance to salt this one away. Freeman fouled in the backcourt by Phillips. He's going to come back down and shoot some free throws and try to increase Illinois State's lead to 7. This has been an uphill climb for the Redbirds all night long. They were down 15 in the first half and had long scoring droughts.
A massive response from a team that started this game, like Kurt, you said, down 15. They were 2 for 17 from the floor at one point. And we talked, but really not even getting into their offense. And we've mentioned his name a lot, but credit Antonio Reeves. That stretch he had, scoring 8 in a row in the first half, got Illinois State back into it, and he just maintained that pace throughout the game, a new career high.
Redbirds 18 of 27 from the free throw line, 67%. One more coming now for number 0, Mark Freeman. Eight-point lead, 17 seconds to go. Forns, the three-point shooter, is going to try a three and make one. That's his fourth three-point make of the night. Timeout, Seahawks. He has 12. All of his points coming from the three-point arc. And it's back to a 5-point game, but at this point, only 12 seconds to go.
All you need to do if you're Illinois State right here, get the ball in bounds and try to keep it out of the corner, because most likely with 12 seconds, Wilmington can take a little bit of time to try to get a trap and a turnover. And so get the ball into that middle third, protect it. You can take a jump ball if you need to. You just don't want to give up an easy layup here, and you don't want to turn it over in the backcourt.
That assistant coach that's helping out, that's standing with his back with the dark jacket, Kurt Kanaski, the former Drake coach. So none of the North Carolina Wilmington players have been in this building, but Kanaski was a coach at Drake for years and is very familiar with coming to Redbird Arena. Veteran coach on the staff of the Seahawks, helping out Takeo Siddle in his second season. But they're going to need a little help here. A turnover, foul, missed shot, whatever. A lot's going to have to happen in the final 12 seconds for the Seahawks to
Yeah, and
come
right
out
now,
of this one with a win.
If you're Illinois State, you kind of control your destiny here, and so it's up to you right now. Like you just said, Kurt, a lot has to go wrong here for you to give up a 5-point lead in 12 seconds. And so the best thing you can do right now is take care of the ball here, get it in. 3 players here lined up directly in front of us at half court with Reeves at the elbow, and you have to wonder if they're just going to give Reeves the opportunity here to get himself open.
Washington can run the baseline. He gets it into Freeman, who's double-teamed right there in the corner. And a reach-in foul against UNC Wilmington. That's on Jalen Sims.
Sims somewhat pleading his case. It looked like we talked about Wilmington maybe didn't want to foul right away there, thought they had a trap, and at Mark Freeman's size, you have a really good chance there to keep the ball in the corner. And so I see what Sims is saying, but a good break for the Redbirds here as Mark Freeman can put the Birds up 7.
First free throw in for a man who shot it at 81.7% a year ago at Tennessee State. Yeah, the Redbirds have made it a tough night for Sims. 2 out of 10 shooting for a guy that's averaged 18 points a game just about a year ago, 17.8. Both free throws in for Freeman. Redbirds get that lead up to 7 now with 10.2 seconds to go.
For a team in Wilmington that likes to win the free throw battle, Illinois State 21 for 30 from the free throw line tonight.
Catch and shoot corner 3. They're not giving up. That's Baker. A 33% three-point threat. The Redbirds immediately get the ball into Kendall Lewis, who's fouled, and he'll walk down to the free throw line with 3.5 seconds to play in this one. Now the Seahawks gave this one a valiant try and controlled the first half. Illinois State made a big run in the final 3 minutes of that first half, but really this game was theirs for the first 20 minutes. And then the Redbirds came out with a whole nother purpose here in the second half. They looked like a different team after halftime.
They did. Credit to Dan Muller for making the adjustment. They switched man and zone, and really we saw some new lineups in the second half. We haven't seen Cy Chapman in about 12 minutes. Abdu Jai gave great minutes. Liam McChesney gave great minutes. And so really well done by the Illinois State coaching staff tonight to try to press some different buttons when things weren't going well as opposed to continuing to run it back. And so if you're Wilmington, I'm not sure if you're disappointed tonight, but certainly you feel like you squandered an opportunity with that massive early lead and what you were doing was working, and it just kind of, like you mentioned, Kurt, all fell apart there for a little bit. And then Antonio Reeves took over, and that was kind of the story of the game for Illinois State.
Yeah, it sure helped to have a guy make 5 3-pointers and have 29 points. And that's the storyline for Antonio Reeves tonight. He's probably going to be mad at himself that he missed that free throw about a minute ago while he was standing at the foul line for a 30-point night in the opener.
There's nothing worse than when you're a scorer and you look back at the box score and you're 1 away from a round number and you can remember exactly where you missed it.
And that's going to do it. Illinois State erased a 15-point first-half deficit, and the Redbirds beat North Carolina Wilmington 68-63. Time to identify our Carl Broman player of the game. Is there any doubt that it is Mr. Antonio Reeves on a 29-point game? 5 3-point makes. He also chipped in 6 rebounds. And Reeves tonight, 9 out of 15 from the floor. He had 3 assists as well. Antonio Reeves, our Carl Broman player of the game, brought to you by Carl Broman Medical Center, redefining healthcare around you. Visit carl.org to find the care you need. How about a final thought or two about this one, Sean?
Really great response from Illinois State. You were down early, you were struggling, and you don't want it to let in the locker room, but you hear the preseason prediction of where you are, and really you dictate your future here. And so for a team that started off slow, people don't have a lot of expectation for, what a great response, what a mature response. And you mentioned it, Kurt, there's not much more you can say about Antonio Reeves, but for him to turn into a complete player, he makes this Illinois State team considerably better than people are expecting when he plays that way.
So for our great Redbird production crew, headed up by our producer, Allie Hunt, and my broadcast partner, Sean Johnson, I'm Kurt Pegler, saying so long from Normal, Illinois, where the final score, Illinois State 68, North Carolina Wilmington 63 in the season opener. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.